The desperate call, the crystal towers of New Cytheria gleamed like jewels against the soft purple sky, their surfaces pulsing with the gentle healing energy that had made the Cytherians famous across 17 star systems. Ambassador Lyra Men stood at her office window, watching the peaceful flow of hover transports carrying medical supplies to the orbital stations. Her forearms moved gracefully as she reviewed the day's reports, each limb equipped with the delicate manipulator appendages that made her people such gifted healers. The tranquil scene shattered when her communication console erupted with urgent alarms. The holographic display showed massive energy signatures dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of their system. Lyra's bioluminescent patches flickered with anxiety as she counted the incoming vessels. 2,800 ships, all bearing the black and crimson insignia of the Vex Dominion. Captain Valancourt rushed into her office, his normally calm demeanor replaced by visible panic. The Cytherian military commander's skin had shifted to the deep blue that indicated extreme stress. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Ambassador, we have a situation. The Vex fleet has taken positions around our outer colonies. They are demanding immediate communication with our leadership." Lyra felt her healing organs constrict with fear. The Vex Dominion was known throughout the galaxy as a military empire that conquered peaceful worlds for their resources and technology. They left nothing behind but empty husks of planets stripped of all value. "How many ships do we have ready for defense?" she asked, though she already knew the answer would be inadequate. 45 vessels, Ambassador, all equipped with our finest energy shields and medical support systems. Valen paused, his secondary arms clasping together in the Cytherian gesture of despair. "Our ships were designed to heal, not to wage war. We have never needed weapons of destruction." The main display activated without warning, showing the scarred face of Vex Commander Zarthok. The alien's reptilian features were marked by battle scars and cybernetic implants that glowed with malevolent red light. His voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to absolute obedience. "Cytherian healers, your reputation precedes you across the galaxy. Your medical technology can regenerate lost limbs and cure diseases that have plagued civilizations for millennia." Lyra straightened her posture, drawing upon the diplomatic training that had served her people for generations. "Commander Z, the Cytherian Collective has always shared our healing knowledge freely with any species that requests assistance. We offer our aid to your people as well, if they have need of medical treatment." The Vex Commander's laughter was like grinding metal. "Your offer is irrelevant, healing insect. We do not request your aid. We demand complete surrender of all medical technology, research data, and the relocation of your best healers to serve Vex interests. You have 72 standard hours to comply. Resistance will result in the complete sterilization of your worlds." The communication ended abruptly, leaving Lyra and Valen alone with the weight of an impossible choice. Outside the window, the peaceful city continued its daily routines, unaware that their entire civilization faced extinction within 3 days. The soft chiming of healing crystals in nearby medical centers seemed to mock the gravity of their situation. "Ambassador, our defense fleet is moving to protect the inner worlds," Valen reported, his voice steadier now despite the hopeless odds. "But our captains are scientists and healers, not warriors. They will fight bravely, but they cannot match vessels designed for conquest and destruction." Lyra activated her personal data terminal and began searching through the Collective's vast database of diplomatic contacts. Her people had maintained peaceful relations with hundreds of species across known space, but none possessed the military might to challenge the Vex dominion. The Zentari Republic was too distant. The crystal hegemony had already fallen to Vex aggression 6 months ago. One by one, she eliminated potential allies until only a handful of possibilities remained. Her search parameters expanded to include species beyond normal diplomatic channels. The results showed scattered references to traders and merchants who worked on the outer edges of civilized space. Most of the entries were fragmentary, based on second-hand reports and unverified encounters. Then she found something that made her blood run cold and sparked hope simultaneously. The entry was brief. Sol system, human territory, quarantine. Classification, death world, species, status, avoid contact unless emergency. Valen noticed her sudden stillness. Ambassador, have you found something? Perhaps, Lyra replied, accessing additional files about the mysterious humans. There are stories about a species that evolved on a world so hostile that it created beings of incredible resilience and adaptability. Most civilizations maintain strict quarantine protocols around their territory. The historical records painted a picture of humans that seemed almost too extreme to believe. Their home planet experienced weather patterns that could destroy cities, geological events that reshaped continents, and native life forms that had turned survival into a constant battle. The few documented encounters with human vessels described beings who seemed impossible to kill and fought with a ferocity that bordered on madness. Are they as dangerous as the Vex? Valen asked, his skin patterns shifting to the orange hues of curiosity mixed with fear. The reports suggest they are far more dangerous, Lyra admitted. But there are also accounts of human ships defending. Trade convoys from pirates, always refusing payment or thanks before disappearing back into deep space. They seem to fight only when threatened or when protecting others. An urgent chime from the communications array interrupted their research. The display showed images from their outer colonies, where Vex ships had begun targeting civilian population. Centers, medical facilities burned while healing crystals shattered under directed energy weapons. Thousands of Catherians were dying every minute as the Dominion demonstrated their commitment to absolute surrender. They are killing healers who have never harmed anyone in their lives, Valen whispered, his voice broken by grief. Our people are dying while trying to evacuate wounded civilians. Lyra made her decision with the certainty that came from having no alternatives. She activated the long-range communication array and began searching for any frequency that might reach human space. The signal would take precious hours to cross the void between systems, assuming it reached anyone at all. This is Ambassador Lyra Mentos of the Catherian Collective, transmitting on all frequencies toward Sol System and human territory. She began, her voice carrying across the darkness between stars. We are a peaceful species dedicated to healing and preserving life throughout the galaxy. We have never engaged in warfare or territorial expansion. She paused, watching through her window as emergency shuttles fled the burning outer colonies. The Vex Dominion has given us 72 hours to surrender our medical technology and our people to serve their empire. We have 45 defense ships against their fleet of nearly 3,000 warships. Our vessels were built to heal, not to destroy. The message continued as Lyra poured her heart into words that might be humanity's first real introduction to her people. We know that other species fear humans because of your world's reputation. But we also know that you have helped innocent beings before, even when you gained nothing from protecting them. We are not asking you to fight our war. We are asking you to help healers who have dedicated their lives to preserving others. Her voice grew stronger as she thought about the millions of lives hanging in the balance. If you cannot help, we understand. The galaxy is vast, and every species must choose their own path. But if there is honor among warriors, if there is compassion among the strong, please remember that sometimes those who heal others need someone to heal the wounds of injustice. The transmission ended with coordinates to the Catharian system, and a repetition schedule that would continue until their communications were destroyed. Lyra and Valen stood in silence, watching their peaceful world prepare for either salvation or annihilation. 3 star systems away, Captain Sarah Chen sat in the command chair of the UES Defiant, a human heavy cruiser on routine patrol near the edge of soul space. Her bridge crew worked with the quiet efficiency that marked experienced military personnel, monitoring deep space communications and tracking vessel movements through their sector. Captain, we're receiving an unknown transmission on multiple frequencies, reported Communications Officer Lieutenant Torres. The signal is weak but clear, originating from the Catharian system. Chun's expression remained neutral as she listened to the desperate plea from Ambassador Lyra. Around her, the bridge crew exchanged glances that spoke of shared understanding. They had all heard similar messages before, but something about the Catharian transmission struck them as different. Analysis, Commander Park, Chen said to her science officer. Commander David Park consulted his data screens. The Catharians are exactly what their message suggests, Captain. They're a peaceful species known throughout their region for advanced medical technology and humanitarian aid. They have no history of aggression or military expansion. The Vex Dominion has destroyed 12 systems in the past 2 years, showing no mercy to civilian populations. Chen stood and walked to the main view screen, which showed the endless stars of space beyond human territory. Her reflection stared back at her, showing a face marked by years of command decisions and the weight of protecting humanity's interests in a dangerous galaxy. Contact Fleet Command, she ordered. Tell them we have a situation that may require immediate fleet deployment. Within minutes, Admiral Marcus Stone appeared on the communications screen. The grizzled veteran's expression grew serious as he listened to the Catharian distress call. Behind him, Chen could see the organized activity of Fleet Command as officers prepared for potential military action. Captain, how much time do they have? Stone asked. Less than 60 hours remaining, sir. That gives us just enough time to reach their system if we deploy immediately. Admiral Stone was quiet for a long moment, weighing the decision that would commit human forces to a conflict far from home against an enemy they had never faced. Captain Chen, prep your ship for immediate hyperspace jump. I'm deploying the entire 7th Fleet to answer their call. Chen felt the familiar weight of command settle on her shoulders. Understood, sir. The Deathworlders are going to war. Asterisk when Deathworlders answer the space around Catharian. Prime erupted with brilliant flashes of light as 27 human warships dropped out of hyperspace. The vessels appeared like predators emerging from the darkness, their hulls scarred by years of patrol duty and painted with the blue and gold insignia of Earth's colonial defense force. At their head, the heavy cruiser used Defiant Lead, a formation that defied traditional military doctrine. Admiral Marcus Stone stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dreadnought, U.S. Retribution, studying tactical displays that showed the full scope of their challenge. The Vex fleet stretched across space like a metal plague, their ships arranged in perfect geometric formations that spoke of military precision and overwhelming firepower. Behind them, the burning wrecks of Catharian vessels drifted between the Planets like broken dreams. Sir, I count 2,912 enemy vessels, reported Fleet Tactical Officer Commander Lisa Martinez. They have us outnumbered more than 100 to 1. Stone's weathered face showed no emotion as he processed the numbers. Years of command had taught him that battles were won by strategy and determination, not by counting ships. What's the status of Catherian forces? 17 ships still operational, Admiral. They're clustered around their homeworld, using the planet's energy shields as cover. The outer colonies have taken heavy damage. Through the view screen, Stone could see the beautiful crystal cities of New Catheria, their surfaces still glowing with healing energy despite the devastation around them. Streams of evacuation shuttles fled toward the inner system while Vex fighters harassed the refugee convoys. The sight filled him with the cold anger that had made him legendary among human fleet commanders. Open a channel to the Vex fleet, Stone commanded. Commander Martinez's fingers danced across her console. Channel open, sir. Stone's image appeared on screens throughout the enemy fleet. His calm expression contrasted sharply with the fury that burned in alien eyes around him. Behind him, the bridge of the Retribution hummed with controlled activity as his crew prepared for battle. I am Admiral Marcus Stone of the Human Colonial Defense Force, he began, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to command. You have attacked innocent beings who pose no threat to your empire. You have one opportunity to withdraw from this system peacefully. The response came from Vex Commander Zarthok, whose scarred face filled the screen with malevolent amusement. Humans, we have heard stories of your kind. Primitives from a death world who think they can frighten civilized beings with tales of your violent planet. You are outnumbered more than 100 to 1. Leave now or join the healers in extinction. Stone's expression remained unchanged, but those who knew him could see the cold calculation building behind his eyes. Commander, you have made your choice. I hope your warriors are prepared for the consequences of attacking the innocent. The communication ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Around them, the vast enemy fleet began to move, turning their weapons toward the human formation with the confidence of predators who had never faced true opposition. Stone walked to the center of the bridge, his mind already 3 steps ahead in the battle to come. All ships implement Hunter Protocol, he announced. Show them what happens when Deathworlders protect those who cannot protect themselves. The human fleet scattered like a pack of wolves, abandoning traditional battle formations in favor of the hunting patterns that had made their species apex predators on Earth. Each ship moved independently, using the asteroid fields and gas giant gravity wells as cover, while they positioned themselves for coordinated strikes. Captain Sarah Chen aboard the UES Defiant watched as Vex ships began their assault. Massive energy beams and missile volleys filled space between the 2 fleets. But the humans refused to engage in the direct confrontation their enemies expected. Instead, they moved like ghosts through the cosmic terrain, striking at isolated targets before vanishing again into the darkness. They're firing everything they have at us, reported her weapons officer, Lieutenant Commander Jackson. But their targeting systems can't lock onto our ships when we move like this. Chen smiled grimly as she watched her vessel dance between enemy fire like a bird avoiding a storm. They're used to fighting species that stand still and trade shots. They've never faced an enemy that hunts. The first phase of the battle belonged to the humans. Using superior maneuverability and intimate knowledge of 3-dimensional warfare, They struck at the edges of the Vex formation with precision attacks that seemed to come from nowhere. Each assault was calculated to cause maximum damage, while avoiding direct confrontation with the main enemy fleet. Commander Rebecca Hayes of the destroyer US Phantom led her squadron in a daring attack on a group of Vex heavy cruisers. Her ships came screaming out of an asteroid shadow at full speed, fired everything they had, and disappeared again before the enemy could respond effectively. Behind them, 12 enemy vessels burned in the void. Control, Phantom Squadron reporting enemy vessels destroyed with 0 losses. Hayes reported, her voice tight with adrenaline. In the command center beneath New Catheria, Ambassador Lyra watched the battle unfold through long-range sensors. Her healing organs pulsed with amazement as she witnessed tactics that defied everything her people understood about warfare. The humans moved through space like living beings, each ship responding to threats and opportunities with an adaptability that seemed almost supernatural. "How are they doing this?" Captain Valen asked, his skin patterns shifting to colors that indicated wonder mixed with hope. "Their ships are smaller than ours, but they fight like they were born in the void between stars." "Their planet," Lyra whispered, understanding flooding through her consciousness. "Earth created them. Every day of their evolution, they faced predators and disasters that would destroy most species. They learned to hunt in coordinated groups, to use terrain as a weapon, to never give up even when facing impossible odds. The tide of battle began to shift as human tactics proved devastatingly effective against an enemy trained for conventional warfare. Vex ships found themselves isolated from their formations, picked off by coordinated strikes that seemed to come from empty space. Their massive firepower meant nothing when they couldn't target enemies who refused to fight by traditional rules. Commander Zarthok watched his fleet's casualty reports climb with growing fury. His species had conquered dozens of worlds, using overwhelming force and superior numbers, but these humans fought like the void itself had come alive to oppose him. They struck from impossible angles, used gravitational fields as shields, and seemed to anticipate his every tactical decision. "Deploy all fighters," he ordered. "Saturate the area with plasma fire. These primitives cannot hide forever." Thousands of Vex fighters swarmed from their carrier ships, filling space with a deadly web of energy weapons and seeking missiles. The human fleet found itself under assault from every direction as enemy pilots tried to overwhelm their defenses. Through sheer volume of fire, Admiral Stone watched the tactical display as his ships came under increasing pressure. The time for stealth and precision strikes was ending. Now they would have to face their enemies directly, using the one advantage that no other species in the galaxy possessed. "All ships, execute pattern Omega," he commanded. "Time to show them why Earth breeds warriors." The human fleet suddenly changed tactics, abandoning their hit-and-run attacks for direct assault. But instead of forming battle lines, they moved in coordinated hunting packs, each group targeting specific enemy formations with the precision of apex predators taking down prey many times their size. Captain Chen led her battle group in a direct assault on a Vex battle squadron. Her ships absorbed punishment that would have destroyed vessels from most species, their reinforced hulls and redundant systems allowing them to fight on despite horrific damage. Around her, human voices called out damage reports and tactical updates with the calm efficiency of people who had trained their entire lives for moments like this. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported her damage control officer. "Emergency bulkheads are holding. Weapons systems still operational. Continue the attack, Chen ordered. Target their command ship. The UES Defiant drove straight through the enemy formation, its weapons blazing at point-blank range. Behind it, the rest of the battle group followed in perfect coordination, each ship covering the others while they systematically dismantled targets that outmassed them by factors of 10. Commander Zarthok watched in horror as his supposedly invincible fleet began to crumble under human assault. These Deathworlders fought with a combination of tactical brilliance and savage determination that defied every military principle he understood. They absorbed damage that should have killed them, fought on with systems failing around them, and never retreated even when facing impossible odds. "Sir, we've lost 300 ships," his tactical officer reported. "The humans are cutting through our formations like they're made of paper." "How is this possible?" Zarthok demanded. "They are primitives from a single world. We are the Vex Dominion, conquerors of a dozen systems." His science officer provided the answer that chilled every alien heart on the command deck. "Sir, their planet, Earth, killed everything that wasn't strong enough, smart enough, or determined enough to survive. These humans are what remains after 4 billion years of evolution's most brutal testing. They don't just fight to win, they fight like their entire species depends on victory." The battle reached its climax as Admiral Stone personally led the final assault on the Vex command ship. The dreadnought US Retribution charged through a storm of enemy fire, its armor ablating away under concentrated bombardment while its weapons carved through enemy defenses. Behind it, the surviving human fleet followed like an unstoppable tide of determination made manifest. Commander Zarthok found himself face to face with Admiral Stone once more as human marines boarded his flagship. The scarred alien warrior looked into human eyes and saw something that made his blood run cold. These weren't conquerors or destroyers. They were protectors, and they would never stop fighting as long as innocent beings needed their help. "Your empire ends here," Stone said simply. "Any ship that remains in this system in 1 hour will be destroyed. Any Vex vessel that attacks peaceful species will face the full might of humanity. Choose wisely." The Vex fleet retreated in disorder, leaving behind the wreckage of nearly 800 ships and the knowledge that a new power had emerged in the galaxy. Word spread quickly through interstellar communication networks that the humans had answered a call for help from strangers and fought against impossible odds to protect them. In the crystal cities of New Cytheria, Ambassador Lyra stood before a crowd of her people as they celebrated their salvation. Her healing organs glowed with gratitude as she spoke to the assembled Cytherians and their human protectors. "Today we learned that strength comes not from the ability to destroy, but from the willingness to protect," she announced. "The humans have shown us that even in the darkest corners of space, someone will answer when innocence calls for help." Admiral Stone accepted the formal thanks of the Cytherian collective, but his thoughts were already turning to the future. The galaxy now knew that humanity would stand with those who could not protect themselves. That knowledge would spread to every peaceful species among the stars, and it would also reach every predator who preyed upon the weak. "Ambassador Lyra," he said, "today marks the beginning of a new alliance. The Cytherian healing arts and human determination will make the galaxy a safer place for all peaceful beings." As the human fleet prepared to return to their patrol duties, they left behind more than just grateful allies. They had established humanity's reputation as the species that would cross any distance and face any odds to protect the innocent. Throughout the galaxy, peaceful civilizations began to whisper a new hope, when darkness threatened to consume the light. The Deathworlders would come.